Alright, hello. Uh, Salute to my enemies, and hello to everybody else. Hope you're all doing well. We're gonna get into it. So, right now we're gonna look at Chinese ancestors were Africans, leading geneticist says. It's not what leading geneticist says, it's what he's gonna fucking prove, so.
However, there is something that could settle this debate of where the Chinese come from once and for all. I'm
I'm
meeting
meeting
Professor
Professor
Jin
Jin
Li,
Li,
one of
one of
China's
China's
leading
leading
geneticists.
geneticists.
Recently,
Recently,
he
he
led a
led a
project that
project that
set
set
out
out
to
to
prove
prove
that the
that the
Chinese
Chinese
evolved
evolved
independently
independently
from
from
everyone
everyone
else,
else.
from Homo erectus here in China.
Before the project started, I was hoping that I could identify or could be able to find evidence that support independent origin of Chinese in China, because I'm a Chinese and came from China, and through the education process, I always believed that there's something special about Chinese.
He singled out a male genetic marker which only appeared about 80,000 years ago in Africa, and suggested that the character marker must have recent African ancestors, likely descended from the more ancient Asian Homo erectus. Jin took DNA from over 160 ethnic groups around East Asia, over 12,000 samples. And so, what did he find?
We did not see even one single individual that could be considered as the descendant of the Homo erectus in China. Rather, everybody was a descendant of our ancestors from Africa.
Okay, so when we look at the Bible, and the Bible tells us that these are the children of Ham or Cham. The older Bibles say Cham, etymology says Cham. So when we look at the name of the Asians, they call themselves the Chinese. This in the Bible is called the people of sin, S-I-N, as evolution of their own name grew. It grew to S-I-N to S-H, Sh-I-N. See, the word sin is a bad thing, and they wanted to get away from that. So they changed to Shin. Eventually, they formed a religion, and it was called Shinna or Shint, with a T-A. As they grew and people separated from the new religion and wanted to stay more to their heritage, they changed the name again, and it went from Shin to Shinna to Chai, because they started using the chi. So this is where we get China. Now this is just some guy from Ohio that's never been to China. I haven't studied Chinese people. I haven't studied the evolution of their name. It's just simply look in the fucking encyclopedia and it's written right there. All right. Now these men sat there and said, all you people come from us. We're going to prove it with DNA. And so then they proved that they came from Africa. Now, here's the only thing. R1B says that that blood is from the soil that we call Africa today. Now, that doesn't mean that anybody else is there. DNA only proves the people that call themselves the Chinese today are from the soil of Africa, and R1B proves that white people and one form of Arab people are from the soil we call Africa today. Nothing else proves that. Absolutely nothing else. Now, the Bible yokes, bonds. Those people that call themselves the Chinese to the people that call themselves Mizrahim. Now, Mizrahim's father in that Bible in Genesis 10 is called Cham. Now, I don't care if we got King James Version that says Ham, because they want us to believe something else because they stole our fucking land.
The result couldn't have been any clearer. Now, how did you feel as a Chinese person?
After I saw the evidences that we generate in my laboratory, I think we should all be happy with that because, after all, modern humans from different part of the world are not so different from each other, and we are very close relatives.
So he runs that joint. And from him running that joint, he can clearly see underneath the skin in the blood that he's related to blah, 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 blah. And he knows this because he can look at their DNA test at any time. If their DNA test is cataloged, he can say, I'm a blood relative to these people, these people, these people, these people. He can keep going. If the blood keeps saying the same fucking thing, then he can. It's just that simple. Only thing the blood can do is tell you who you related to. That's why I say you get your DNA test, you go, I'm E1, B1. No, all that's going to do is say you related to this person, and this person. Listen, if I'm from Mars and I come to Africa or what we call Africa today, and I make war and my body dies and it's buried in the soil, one day they find my bones, and you're related to me today, even though I'm from fucking Mars, they're gonna tell you from Africa because your dead body was found, because my dead body was found in that soil. Now, on top of that, the act of Tiglath-Pileser III, the act of Shalmaneser, lifting people up and moving them off their soil and planting them somewhere else. Now, does that action have any effect on DNA tests about where dead bodies are found in the soil? You need to think about this. Just because they fucking say, you know, all's good, don't mean all is good. These people rule over us. And let me explain something to you. You sleep with a woman, they go to court, they do a DNA test. If that DNA test says that baby match your blood, you gotta pay for that child. Now, if you do they do a DNA test and they match your blood, your ancestor, over to another part of land, in the court of law, does that mean that you are part of that land, or does that just mean that your ancestor died on that spot? So think about these things, please.
Great, thank you.
All right. So we're gonna look at this other video now, and now we saw the Chinese, and the Chinese run his own freaking joint, his own business, and you say, well, this is how I feel about it. I feel that we found the truth, so it ain't that hard to deal with. Listen to him again.
Could be considered as the descendant of the Homo erectus in China. Rather, everybody was a descendant of our ancestors from Africa.
And so, what did you find?
We did not see even one single individual that could be considered as the descendant of the Homo erectus in China. Rather, everybody was a descendant of our ancestors from Africa.
The result couldn't.
So he discovered in just a few words, he pretty much discovered he's a fucking African. All right? That's what that video actually means. You got DNA proving they migrated from Africa. And today, I'm gonna just say this. Today, everybody's so goddamn brilliant, nobody can fucking put two and two together. So we talk. We said we were gonna talk about the original Greeks were black, and everybody like, oh, let's do it.
The Compact Bible Dictionary, edited by T. Allen Wright.
Okay, wait. I got a problem. First off, to a fair degree, I respect all these people that do these videos. Just because I don't agree with them and I start yelling and bitching and shit, I'm the greatest bitch. That that that's just me. But the problem is, when these peoples learn something new, they don't change anything. They don't change anything. Each time they go back to the Ten Commandments, the first commandment is no other God. As soon as they finish that lesson, at the end of the fucking lesson, they pray to two different beings. I don't care if you sit there and say, oh, they live in the same house. You can't even prove that with the Old Testament. You can't prove that Jesus is affiliated with the Creator in the Old Testament. You cannot. Here's the problem. The people that we get the scriptures from, the words of God, those people were long gone and there was no more mouthpieces for the Lord. None. That is why the last thing said in Malachi is, I am the Lord, I change not. Now people will do anything to lie to you. They'll tell you Jesus is in the Old Testament. He's the angel of the Lord. But you use the Strong's Concordance, the Strong's you use any Strong's Concordance, and you type in angel of the Lord, and it's going to say that entity, that being, its name is Malak, M-A-L-A-K, not Jesus. You've been lied to on every facet. Everything you see in Greek libraries, we can't even tell the date that the shit is actually made. Somebody told us the date. We're just supposed to believe them. We just read in his book, Shalmaneser took the fucking 10 tribes away in 1225, 1228. Well, why have they been telling us this happened in 750? Now, 400 years. See, Gog and Magog had our people for 400 years. 1200, right? Plus 4, 1600. Now, our people over there fucking enslaved by Gog and Magog for 400 years, and then here comes Columbus on our end. So our people are in the land of Gog and Magog for at least 800 years. So they wanted you to think Gog and Magog happened in BCE, like you've been enslaved for thousands of years. Some grand fucking movie. 800 years is a long ass time. It's close to 1,000. Understand, people. Your brothers and sisters are on the other side of the fucking world, in Tartaria, as if it's like America. Your brothers and sisters are in Europe, just like it's in America. And you sit here with your fucking luxuries and your little bit of white man cash running around thinking that you're Big Daddy Kane. You won't read, you won't educate yourself, and there's no way in hell you're going to be able to liberate somebody when you done spent fucking 10 years watching porn, masturbating, being selfish, not giving a fuck about your family, not doing extra to make your mind grow. Now I'm making videos with topics that people disagree with, and they spend their whole fucking day in front of the computer. See, I don't believe you. If I could see you, I'd hurt you, because you're saying things that I don't give a fuck. Something's wrong with you. Fuck, something's wrong with me, but something's more wrong with you.
We're on page 267. Okay, we're going to get into the understanding of Japheth's son, Javan. It says a region settled by one of the sons of Japheth.
Right here, a region settled by one of the sons of Japheth.
Genesis 10 verse 2, Javan was the name of this country to Ezekiel, who saw it as an important trade center. So Javan, notice in parentheses it says Greek, Ionian, came to the name of Greece to the Hebrews. Okay, so Javan became known as Greece.
Now, where does it say Mizrahim became to be known as Egypt? This is critical.
Genesis chapter 10. Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, and unto them were sons born after the flood. The sons of Japheth, Gomer, and Magog, and Madai, and Javan. That's the one we want to look at, Javan. Japheth's son, Javan.
Now, you see that Magog is Japheth, or Japheth. Magog is Japheth. Yet, the Tartars, whom are what? Shem, and the Mongols, who are Ham or Cham, somehow have mingled with Japhet to make Gog and Magog,
who became known as Greece, and Tubal, and Meshach, and Tyrus, and the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz, and Riphtah, and Togarmah, and the sons of Javan, Elisha, and Tarshish, and Kittim. Kittim is called Rome today.
Now, you see that right there. Now, Javan became Greece, and Kittim became Rome. Now, you see the Tarshish right there, right? And you understand that we're talking about the Tartar people, right? Javan, Tartar, Tarshish, and Kittim, right there. These are some of our biggest fucking enemies. You see the Ashkenazi right there, them that say they are Jews and are not. Look how devastating these people have been to us. The people of Japhet. I mean, take time, look at each of these names, and think in your mind, has the Mahdi done it? Has Magog done things to us? Well, yeah, we know that. We got Gomer's backwards fucking writings that we can't figure out. Javan, the Greeks, they enslaved us and gave us Hellenistic bullshit, right? You know.
Javan, Elisha, and Tarshish, and Kittim. Kittim is called Rome today. And so we will concentrate in Javan, son of Japheth, because there's two thoughts out there amongst the Israelites. One, Japheth has always remained in power, never misconduct, always stayed in the land. And the other school of thought is that Esau conquered everybody and removed Japheth, son Javan, and replaced him. Let's see that. Okay, this name of the book is African Presence in Early Europe, edited by Ivan Van Sertima. Alright, I'm on page 67 of this book. I want to look at the underlying portion and get into the point. The true of the Greeks, before they won domination in Greece, had passed clean out of their remembrance, and they looked to the east, not to the north, as the quarter from which some of their ancestors had migrated. So now it says the true of the Greeks before they won domination.
Okay, now, this is going to be a crucial part. He's going to highlight something, but I'm going to highlight something else.
They want dominion in Greece. Wait a minute.
So, let me go back a little bit more.
Some of their ancestors had migrated. So now it says.
So it says the real thing. Now he's going to tell you about one thing. I'm going to tell you about another. The real thing we listening for is that the Greeks migrated from the east. The sun sets in the east. That's the land of Japan. That's the land of China. Now, listen again.
The true home of the Greeks before they won dominion in Greece. Wait a minute. The true home of the Greeks before they won dominion in Greece. Meaning somebody was conquered. Had passed clean out of their remembrance. So the Greeks won dominion over somebody in Greece, and their origin they had forgotten.
So they forgot their origin. You know what happens? You make a war party. And in that war party, they said they won dominion. They're going to go try to dominate another soil. That means all you got to do is push the people off. You don't got to kill the people. You got to push the people off to dominate the soil. You're not dominating people unless you enslave the people. Now listen, what it said is their true home is from the east, and they forgot. What that means, the older you are, the more you start caring about history. That means when they went to war to dominate that land, their older people died and their younger people survived. That means they had a 20, 25-year-old warriors that walked off that battlefield. They had 18-year-old warriors that walked off that battlefield. That does not mean they got 50-year-olds, 40-year-olds that remember things of the past. If you're 20 years old and you just like now, you don't care about history, then you will forget your history, right? If everybody over 25 was wiped out today in America, then most people wouldn't remember too much about fucking slavery. Oh, excuse me. All right.
Clean out of their remembrance. Let's pan down.
Now what we're gonna do right now is we're gonna grab the notepad. All right. Now we're gonna take a note because it's really important. Now the Greeks, whomever they started as, they forgot. But what they did was they won dominion over land in what we call Greece today. So we're gonna write down on the notepad their original home was east. All right, rewind it one more time. I know you hate when I rewind it, but I don't give a fuck. At least you're gonna remember.
So the Greeks. So now it says the true home of the Greeks before they won dominion in Greece. Wait a minute. The true home of the Greeks before they won dominion in Greece. Meaning somebody was conquered. Had passed clean out of their remembrance. So the Greeks won dominion over somebody in Greece, and their origin they have forgotten. It passed clean out of their remembrance. Let's pan down. Let's go right here. According to the Greeks, had originally been inhabited by primitive tribes.
Okay, so originally, primitive tribes was on the land of Greece, right? You got to dominate somebody. So somebody from the east came over to Greece, made war, and won. And in doing so, whoever kept the records died, or the records were destroyed. So they remember not whom they are.
I can't pronounce that word. Pelasgians and others.
Pelasgians.
And had then been.
So when you go and you type in Pelasgian and they tell you, we don't know what happened to the Pelasgians, something happened and they just disappeared. What really happened is somebody came from the east, made war with them from their land, for their land, and amalgamated with them. And when we look at amalgamated, amalgamated. And it means to combine or to unite to form one organization or structure, or to merge. Okay, so when we read the Bible and the Bible talks about the people of Kittim and the people of Cyprus amalgamating together on the orders of Esau's grandson Zepho, this is the start of the Mediterranean race. Well, actually, we're going to see the start of the Mediterranean race, and we'll see how it grows out of proportion. Out of proportion. Out of proportion.
Settled by Egyptians and Phoenicians who had built cities and introduced irrigation. So Greece was originally.
Okay, so whoever came here from the east, they came with irrigation.
Been inhabited by primitive tribes. I can't pronounce that word. Pelasgians and others, and had then been settled by Egyptians and Phoenicians who had built cities and introduced irrigation. So Greece was originally inhabited. Greece had originally been inhabited by primitive tribes, and they're calling them, the people that were there first, Egyptians and Phoenicians. So the Greeks, before they won dominion in Greece, they conquered some primitive tribes they think were Egyptians and Phoenicians. Let's examine a little more closer.
Now, we got to stop and add this to the notes too, right? Because now it's Egyptians and Phoenicians from the east, right? From the Orient area, right? Afro-Asians. Do Greeks have, do Egyptians have afros? Yeah, they grow woolly hair. So you have Afro-Asians or something to that nature coming from the east. Now, we've been told that Egyptians are from fucking Africa, right? Now, in that book from 1600 the other day, it said Asia is the motherland, not Africa, right? Right. That's why they done did this to your father, so you never argue fatherland. That's why you kick your dad out of the house. That's why they do everything to make sure that your mom raises you, especially if you're a male. So you have feminine aspects, that you'll do anything for mom. That's why they teach you you're African American. Your motherland is Africa, right? You'll do anything for Africa. There's not one African over here doing too much for the whole of you. Africans come over here and they learn about slavery that you learned about. And for the most part, they say, fuck that. If that ever starts again, I'm out of here. They do what you will not do. If you are so African American, why have you not gone to Africa? When you get to Africa, the shock to you is that nobody looks like you. They kind of do, but just not really. We've been lied to. There's no way around this. Oh, sorry. This is the way around this, making all these videos and whatnot. So, learning, re-educating ourselves,
Let's examine that a little more closer. Okay, this is page 90 of the chapter called Blacks in Antiquity, Ethiopians and the Greco-Roman Experience. Let's go over to page 91, shall we? I'm going to start right here. I'm getting to the point on these things because this issue must end. For example, he finds that the word Ethiopian was used by Greeks to refer to the sunburnt or black-faced distinctions between types of Ethiopians, black-faced people, such as Eastern or Western Ethiopians, as well as their various shades of black color.
Okay, so that doesn't really help with the description. that's saying Ethiopians are black and Egyptians are brown. But the Ethiopians have various colors. That doesn't really help. So what we can see is we know that there are a few races of black that have big names. Right? We've heard of the Nubian name. We've heard of the Ethiopian name. We've heard of the Egyptian name. And we've heard of the Amorite name. So we've heard of those big names. So what's being said here is the Ethiopian and the Egyptian. And what they're trying to do to a degree is classify a separation or a distinction between the two.
Between types of Ethiopians, black-faced people, such as Eastern or Western Ethiopians, as well as their various shades of black color. Snowden examines the language of Greece and Rome and finds that it is full of references to the color of black people such as Afar.
Now, do you see that? Let me try to get that on screen a little bit clearer. Afar. Okay. A-F-E-R. Now, there's going to be a couple of things that are brought up, and it's to describe our hair. All right. Now, Afar and A-E, things that start with A-E together are also going to represent the Afro.
Indus, Indian.
Now, listen again real quick.
Full of references to the color of black people such as Afar.
Now, it says Greece and Rome. All right. Now, they're not saying, just listen to this real quick.
Full of references to the color of black people such as Afar, African, Indus, Indians, Moris, Moor, Milas. These words were used as equivalents for Ethiopian.
Now, we all know the Moors aren't Ethiopians. We all know that the Egyptians aren't Ethiopians. So these are more so slang terms to describe people that are brown skin, dark skin, wool hair. Now, you see it says,
These words were used as equivalents for Ethiopian. So when you read,
and you see right above that says, it says to the color of black people. So it doesn't matter technically what group you're coming from. Now, I understand he just said these are terms used for Ethiopian, but the Morris is the Moor, right? Now, they say we live by maritime law or Morris time law or maritime law. Maritime has to do with water. Smooth Perspective bought that video talking about King Juba and their flight from Egypt over on the other side of the world. And when they talk about it, it says King Juba's had a sailors with him called the Mariti. The Mariti are the Moors, are the people out of northern Africa. So it's just their name has stuck. They've historically been awarded with the name of sailors, maritime. You know, maritime law has to do with more law on the water.
Greek history, you can find that these words which make reference to Ethiopians or people with burned faces, black faces. Okay? Hold on now.
So you already saw that Indus or Indian is also put in that same category. So when you sit there and say, you know, Black people are Indians. That does fall under Indus. When you sit there and you read your Bible and you say the 12 tribes, they're talking about Indus or Indian or you know, Indians, Indian tribes. It's the other word for it. Indios, God, God's children. Indios. So this is why I push the Indian aspect.
There's another book by Frank M. Snowden Jr. called Blacks in Antiquity, where on page 42, the physical characteristics of Ethiopians and archaeological evidence. Let's get to the point here. I'm going to start at the word hence. Hence, the long history of the Negro in classical art must be examined for the light that it throws on certain physical types which the Greeks and Romans had in mind whenever they used the word Ethiopian, meaning faces burnt, and for a record of many Negroes seen at different periods on the streets of Alexandria, Athens, West Athens, Greece, Rome, Kittim, okay, and elsewhere. The significance of the word Ethiopian, unless supplemented by archaeological evidence, cannot be fully understood. So let's go.
So it's the same thing with Negro. Using the term Negro can't really be authenticated unless you're actually attributing it to anthropology, a bone structure of people, because it is a blanket label that is used towards all melanated people at this point, like the term African American. So this is what they're saying about the term Ethiopian.
Writes that the Greeks and Romans used the word Ethiopian many times in describing dark-skinned people. It says, and without archaeological evidence cannot be fully understood. Why do you say that? Okay.
So again, like you call most white people Caucasians. I call most white people call us blacks, even though a lot of us don't resemble black at all. It's the same thing. They instead of the word Negro or nigger was not popular at the time, so they've said Ethiopian, and you can
Go over to the beginning of this chapter. Art in some respects, more valuable than literature as a source of information.
Art, I make these mistakes too. Art is, in some respects, more valuable than literature. Art is.
Let's go over to the beginning of this chapter. Art in some respects, more valuable than literature as a source of information for anthropological data, because it tells us much that the texts do not about the amount of prognathism or its total absence, the extent of, giant words here, meaning you need to look to identify who the Greeks were, who Rome was, who the people are that are being referenced.
All right. If I gave you we live in 2016. A big artistic thing for us is the camera. All right. If we think about it like this, for you to get a description of me, somebody's just gonna say, well, his skin's kind of yellow, kind of brown. He's got woolly hair. He's got a white strip in front of his chin. But to see a picture of that, it gives you much more description. To see an image drawn of that, it gives you much more description. Now, when you describe someone that you don't give a shit about, it's very brief. Yeah, I met her. She was kind of homely, and that's all you hear. But if you are enthralled with something, you're like, oh yeah, her feet were so petite, the calves leading up to the thighs. You're giving so much more description. So it really is based on the author's ideal of quality for what he's writing about. White people don't like black people, and they write in disgust. They just write nigga. When white people write about black people and they're writing in awe, he was amazing. The glimmer of the light against his skin as he was raising up over the people as a champion. His long arms, his strong back, blah, 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 blah. When he put the ball through the net, he made the others look, that kind of thing, Description comes with a degree of likeness for something. So we have to remember that these people writing about us throughout history, for the most part, just don't like us. They're overthrowing us to take our shit. They don't want to give too much description. Well, King James, the blah blah blah, was this or that, and when I killed him to take his place, right? Now you gave him too much description. Now everybody knows that dude's dead, and you're taking his place, right? So you don't want to give too much description to something that you dislike, right? Unless it's dangerous and you're describing how to stay the hell away from it to keep alive.
Okay, in the same book, Blacks in Antiquities, I'm going to jump down to what they say about the wars in Greece. We all saw the movie, what was it? Troy, where you had Achilles and Agamemnon, whatever you say his name. Watch this. In a description of another scene of the Trojan War, Philostratus notes that the pure black of Memnon's face, you remember Memnon, that was a guy Achilles couldn't stand, shows a certain ruddiness, that means youthfulness, okay? And as that Ethiopian Memnon was transformed into a statue of black marble. Further, in earlier accounts, Memnon had been referred to as a king of the Ethiopians, or as a leading Ethiopians to Troy.
All right, so there's a lot being said there, and we'll just take it one step at a time. And they have him written down as Memnon, but it's like Agamemnon. All right, so even here, they have him written down in Greek mythology. So it's a myth, right? Because they'll put millions into a movie to show you, right? That's the amazing thing about it. He was an Ethiopian king and son of Tithonus and Eos. As a warrior, he was considered to be almost Achilles' equal in skill. Now here you have a departure of him from Troy. Now here you have white people on the vases. Now that's the funny thing. Don't think that they can't make white images on these vases. If these people were white, they'd have made them white, but they're not white. They're black. Now, if this vase in the background matches my skin tone, then that means if he looked like me, they could have made my skin tone on that fucking vase. You very well see that these are white. He is dark as night. So, when this is done, man. All right. So let's go back. And then, so we'll just take his name. And since we already threw it through Google, we'll just hit the images. Now, we look for Memnon, right? And you have the Colossi of Memnon. Memnon's an Ethiopian. Why the hell does he wear a hood of the lion? You see that? He's got the Egyptian hood of the lion on these statues. Now you have to ask, why is that? He's an Ethiopian. He's an Ethiopian, not an Egyptian, right? See? How come all these black people have the lion hood? Now, I hope this is starting to light up a spark in your mind, right? I mean, we 45 minutes in, if you ain't sparked already, you got a problem. But, you know, for the Ethiopians who are, from our understanding, from white man's education, the Ethiopian is distinctly different from the Egyptian, right? The black Egyptian, right? Why is a hood on you can see all these images. This is Memnon's fucking tomb, right? And what does he want? He want lion hoods on his head, right? Would they put they put an AG in front of him? Agamemnon. Agamemnon. I guess if you put an AG in front of it, it's a different person. Now, Agamemnon is Mycenaean, right? They were short on names in the fucking history and shit. When there was less people on Earth, they were short on names. Let's see, Memnon. Where's Agamemnon? I'll just open up Agamemnon, motherfucker. Uh-oh. Oh, there it is. It's getting weird on me. Agamemnon was very much and think on, whatever. Steadfast was son of King Atreus and Queen. Remember, that's AE. Every time AE is, I'm trying to warn you, every time AE or AF is together, it's for the hair. Europe. Arab, Queen Arab. Atreus and Queen Arab. I don't see anything that. So this is Troy, right? Agamemnon commanded the United Greek armed forces using the word upon Agamemnon's return from Troy. So this is the same fucking person, right? So Memnon is black, but Agamemnon is white. Now, what did I do with it? Go there. Oh. Memnon, right? And then we'll go back up. All. And we open this shit, right? So here, amalgamate. We know what that means. So we got Agamemnon right here, right? Same thing during the time of fucking Troy. That's Agamemnon. And then you got Memnon. He brought an army to Troy's defense. Now, is this the same person? This is an Ethiopian king, but he's son of Theos and Eos. And this was the son of King Atreus and Europe, right? I don't know. This is really weird. See, Clytemnestra. Is Clytemnestra brought up over here? Who is this? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll continue this later. Yeah, it's just going to waste time trying to figure this one out. But I think it's funny. You got Memnon as one, and then Agamemnon, Agamemnon as the other. You know, it's the same name. You know, one's Ethiopian, and do we even say which one this is? Mythical. Here we go. Mythical legends make him the king of either Mycena or Argos. So, who knows?
And no mention was made of his color. In the Roman period, however, Memnon was considered at times definitely black and Ethiopian. Now I'm going to go to page 48 to show you what this Greek Memnon looked like, because it's saying he's Ethiopian. Okay, let's go to page 48, shall we? Oh, here we go. This is what they were talking about that you need. Detail of heads of Memnon and Negroes from black figured neck amphora. 530, what's the year in this? 530 years before Christ. And this is about 200 something years before Alexander, the Greek. Look at Memnon, look at his soldiers with him, all black.
Now, in the book, we can't tell what the Greeks are calling the soldiers with him. But in this book, this is probably written in our time, the soldiers with him are considered Negroes. Now he's a Greek Ethiopian king of fucking he's Ethiopian, right? And he's got Negroes with him. So are the Ethiopians even fucking Ethiopians? It's just, I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not, nailing anything up. We're just watching a video, talking some shit.
Japhet, okay? They use the word Ethiopian to describe any dark-skinned people. Any brown-skinned people they call Ethiopian.
Now, that's the real deal. Any wool hair people they call black. Any afro-headed people they call African. You get what's going on? If you write Africa here, I'll do this. If you write Africa and you misspell it with 2 F's, are you serious? I said, shit gonna start jumping around like we having a party. And when you use the rules of 1600s, when they put those F's down, those F's were really S's, then you get a seer, ye. Now, when we sit there and spell Assyria, so
Memnon was of Javan. This is Javan, son of Japheth. Okay, this is who these people are. Okay, now let's get a closer look. Detail of one of Memnon's Negro companions. Black figure, neck amphora, 540 to 530 BC. Up there you go, there you go. These are the descendants not of Cush, but of Japheth. These were the original inhabitants of Greece.
did you hear that? He just said, these are not the descendants of Cush, meaning from Ham, i.e. Cham. Now again, they say Cush is black. Well, I believe them. I believe Cush has dark black skin. But I still think he's a Mongol. I still think he has straight, stringy hair. Now, you've seen Indians with black skin and stringy hair. Now, when we look at Asia or Asia Minor, where is Japan? When we look at Asia or Asia Minor, where is Tartania, where Shalmaneser did, where the Genghis Khan did this to us? You saw that? His fucking name is Cham, not Khan. Khan! I had to do that. I love that shit. So, you can see we've been lied to. Now, just because I'm trying to highlight a couple of things, don't mean I'm just going to try to replace everything on the chessboard the way it correctly does. I am aiming for the truth, and if it comes out that way, that's what we're going to do. But other than that, it's just correcting lies. Nothing more. Nothing more. Now, keep going.
What happened to him? Okay, here's another one. Greek artifacts, archaeology. Look at these Greeks. Look at these Greeks. Hmm. 61, they show a Negro and crocodile, South Italy. Italy is Rome. Remember Kittim? Remember I mentioned about Kittim? What happened to these people? Here's another book that you can order called The Dark Age of Greece. This is a book of archaeology which spans from the 11th to the 8th century before Christ. This is about 900 to 700 years before Christ. 500 years before Alexander the Greek.
So, I want you to think about something. Now, the rest of this video, he's going to read some more, and there's some good stuff brought up. You can watch the last 20 minutes on your own, but I've already put the title on screen. I'll put the title back on screen. I want you to think about something. Now, you've seen the documents that show Christ is nothing but a fucking permission slip for them to come over and steal from us. Now, this black biblical teacher obviously hasn't seen Dum Diversus 1452, where the Pope gave these people permission to come and steal from us if we don't worship Christ. Now, does that sound like a good guy? Enslave them if they don't believe what we believe. Now, look how many of us now believe in Christ, yet are still enslaved. You still got your own firmament over you that won't let you into the skyscrapers, that won't let you into big business, that won't let you make the money unless you conform. And half the people that conformed still can't use their degrees. They still work at fucking gas stations to pay their bills. They still work at grocery stores to pay their bills. And they got degrees in engineering, computer science. Doesn't matter. They have brown skin, black skin. I don't run this bitch. I'm just the greatest bitch. And I'm going to argue about it because it's not right. We live in a society where people say if you have white skin, you got fair skin. You got acne all the fuck over, bumps the fuck everywhere, and you're calling yourself fair skin. Fair skin means clean skin. Beautiful skin. Not white. So we're going to look at another one. Again, this is the original Greeks were black. All right, go over here. Let's see the original Greeks. The original black Greeks, proof of the parting of the Red Sea, the 9 Byzantine priests, black priests. Now, Byzantine, right? Does anybody know where the Byzantine is? Let me just type it in over here. I know a place. I couldn't resist. So here we have, there, this one has a legend. Extent of the empire under Justinian, 527 to 565. So see all this Mediterranean shit? See how they were like, we don't really want France, we don't want that much of Spain. See how France and Spain are both part of the Mediterranean? See how they're all on the water, right? Italy, Bulgaria, Greece, Asia Minor, right? All these things, Syria, right? Every time you see a fucking map, ain't Syria up here off the map? Ain't it over here? Why is Syria right up against the fucking coastline now? Look, these people have weapons. Their weapons are stats and numbers and fake fucking maps. Okay? That's what their weapons are. You know? And, you know, what these people have done, as more Caucasians wake up to the relevance of it, they call it the Mandela effect. Okay, see, I'm gonna explain something. Nelson Mandela didn't write no motherfucking books. There might be a book written about Nelson Mandela. He might even have a biography, autobiography where he writes it himself and shit, you know. But Nelson Mandela don't write no books. He ain't write no books that come out of Texas and that go into the American school system. All books in the American school system come out of Texas. Not one come from Washington, D.C., not one come from Washington State. These Freemasons get together in a government building in Texas and do this. I'm sorry, I don't think it's a government building. I think it's a separately affiliated building, but they produce these things for the government public education system. The public education system is a government-based entity. When your kid go to school and you don't got fucking money for food and shit, you get government little tickets, right? So stop bullshitting yourself. White people do this, and now white people done woke up to it, and they call it the Mandela effect. Like Nelson Mandela did something. Why they call it the Mandela effect? Because he's black. Because they were dealing with, this is what we're trying to do to the people that are native to this planet. See, again, not all white people are native. Crickets? I don't give a shit. Why is this ear sticking the fuck out? This ear ain't. What's that? Like one big ear, like Dumbo and shit. Help! Help! Alright, my bad. So, here's the Byzantine Empire, right? Now, I think I'll show us about Byzantine Empire. Did they have black rulers first?
Under the ash at Santorini.
Is this? Yeah, this is the one. What did I do there? Yeah.
Startling discovery, linking this area of the world with the Exodus. They found unusual Minoan-style wall paintings.
Now, this is the Minoan, right? Listen carefully. The Minoan style wall painting. Now, do you think the Minoans sat on the side and watched this great big exodus and then drew this shit about all these other people? Or do you think maybe these Minoans were part of the exodus and drew themselves?
With the Exodus, they found unusual Minoan-style wall paintings. Incredibly, among them there is a map depicting an ancient journey from Egypt to Greece.
The whole scene may be considered as the earliest, the oldest part of the world.
The map is breathtaking. The colors are vibrant today as 3,500 years ago.
All right, the author wants us to know something. He says the original Black Greeks or Minoans or Philistines ruled all the Greek islands until the 3rd century when the White Macedonian Philip destroyed the Black Greeks. Now, you start off in this first video where he goes through 3 different books showing you that Greece is started by Egyptians and Phoenicians that came from the fucking east and forgot where they came from, forgot their history. All right. Now you have what? You have reliefs, you have historic drawings claiming that they left this place of Egypt and went north to Greece. Listen to listen to him again. Listen to him again. I'm not making shit up. I'm not trying to curve your opinion. Even the author of this video typed in Greeks or Minoans, and they were brown skin. You can see they brown. If I open up a window and I type in Egyptians Egyptians on walls, right? Now, that's a unique brown color, right? Now, when you go in close on that, oops, you see the brown color right there, right above the H, the symbol for History Channel? There's that unique brown color, the same color as the damn ore, the same color as the ore he's holding. And somebody else said Ruddy was something. Ruddy is not what that dude said. When we look at the color Ruddy, I don't know if they stopped us a while ago, but Ruddy is something you call animals. Is a color of nature. So if you type in ruddy cow, it'll show you what a ruddy cow. So when they say Prince David was ruddy, you see how this is brown? You see how this is light brown? You see how it's got a red overlay? You know how fur works? You rub fur one way and a secondary color pops up? You see how this dude is brown? Do you see how this cow is brown? See how this cow is so brown? He is a rich brown. He's almost turned red. See the same thing distinctive in this animal? In this animal, you see where this is going. You see it in this skin color. Now you can see that's Egyptian and that ain't a nigga. Now you can see that's an Egyptian and that looks like a fucking Indian. A Mongol. Now I'll get into that probably another day. Yeah, I already talked about it yesterday. You see the richness of his color? This is what they want. That's a black man. That's a ruddy. You see, he's black where the sun don't shine, but everywhere the sun hits, he's ruddy. That's ruddy. You ever hear of a ruddy duck? Here, let me move my image and you can see the words ruddy duck. Why? Because it's brown like, hey, Bolo, wake up. Wake up. Brown like the cow. This is a ruddy duck. The adult male ruddy duck. This is a ruddy cat. You'll say it's an orange tabby cat. Compare it to the cow. Compare the deer. See how the animals match the flesh of the people on the Egyptian walls. Except for the blue people. Who knows where the fucking blue people come from? So when you see the Egyptians and the Israelites, there is something uniquely different about them. Now we can scroll down and we can look for one, or we can go and we can just type it in. I think we'll have to type it in. We're going to be looking for a while. Here we are. Now, do you see how he have a close complexion? This one has a full beard going up to his ear. This one does not. You see down here, the yellow guy with the poofy afro has the full. See how the yellow guy with the poofy afro beard? See all these different complexions back and forth, one than the other, but they all revolve around the same complexions that revolve around these animals. Ruddy does not mean black. Ruddy means brown. White people are not ruddy. Well, when we get mad, then stay mad 100% of the time. So every time I see you, you look like the fucking horse or the cow or the duck. Stay mad so you look like a natural animal of the fucking earth. You can't do that. Shut the fuck up. Walk around, you mislabel every fucking thing. That's why I told you, if you killed off the white leaders, other fucking white people will take their place and do the same fucking evil. I'm going to explain it to you like this. It all depends on what the white man wants. It all depends on what the white man wants. And if he wants oil under your fucking ground, under your home, he gonna lie to you for it. If he wants salvation in his belief in Christ, he's gonna lie to you for it. If he wants your fucking wife, he's gonna lie to you for it. If he wants your money, he's gonna lie to you for it. Period. Don't believe me? Look at history. This is the male seed. I've always explained this. It is the male seed that does this. These people want to push Christianity. They will fucking lie for it. Ten Commandments say, do not lie. Show me Jesus in the Old Testament. He's everywhere. You're fucking lying. Shut up. The fuck out of here. Not gonna sit there and debate some goddamn liar. Then you prove the motherfucker's lying. And then he don't understand he's been defeated. So you just got to beat him up. See, when you get your ass kicked, it is amazing what happens when you sit there thinking about, why did I get my ass kicked? And that is why, from time to time, everybody needs their ass kicked. Because we get out of control. We get out of control. We do. It matters not what color you are. It is the mind of each of us. We being here in this society, we just get taught your ways. Now I know how to use your technology, your weapons, and your lies. Your books, your systems. All anyone has to do is just leave and cut out the pieces of the system that they don't want. That's what you did with syncretism. You cut out pieces of the system that you don't want. And you roughly use religion to do it. Rome used fucking Christianity against the brown people there, and the fucking the Turks used Muslim bullshit against the slaves there. That's all this shit is. Now look at all the fucking idiots in the world that worship through these fucking religions that aren't enslaved. Now I understand the white Christians sitting there because they got to keep the foot over the black people's neck. I understand the Islam people doing it there because they got to keep their foot on the Afro people's neck. But everybody in between is just fucking stupid because they're not enslaved. They will be. They're not enslaved. So why do they fall for Jesus and Muhammad? They just wanted to be part of something. This is ready, people. Jesus ain't gonna bring you ready. Jesus gonna bring you death. You doubt me? Type in ready duck. I already showed you the ready duck. Just type it in. Ready in white people is not white people when they're mad. White people turn red, and that red jersey doesn't match any of these fucking animals. The Bible doesn't say, look at that one. That one matches me. I like that. Hey, man. Bring me food. No, I'm just playing. That's great. I think I should put that in Photoshop. Fuck around with it later. So, you know, it's about hijacking the principles of your ancient writings, our ancient writings. That's what it really has to do with. The word ruddy is attributed to King David. If it was attributed to if it was attributed to somebody evil, if they said Lucifer fell, how ruddy thou you are, they would never say that they are fucking ruddy. They'd be like, no. What it is ruddy's attributed to David, and then they can sit there and say, oh, we're right, we're ruddy, we look like rubies when we're mad. Okay, but animals don't look like rubies. And it didn't say David looked like rubies. It said he looked ruddy. It didn't say he looked red. It said Esau looked red. Now, when you look at the Turks versus their brothers or cousins, the Afro people, you can see that they look red. When you look at the American Indian, they call him the fucking red man. The what? The Washington Redskins. Ain't no black Indians in Washington State. They're fucking red. Cleveland Browns. The black Indians was around the Great Lakes. I am a Taurus, so I'm just. I need more grass. All right, so let's get back to this video.
It depicts an epic journey from Egypt to Santorini. The voyage is complete with a terrible storm at sea.
Look at those brown people.
Further back,
Oh my God. More black people. See, they're brown. I mean, the outline of the fucking window, the YouTube window is black. You know, they're brown, man. The language was not called Greek, not the people. They were Minoan and they spoke Greek.
we see that the ancient sailors sailed past Egyptian fauna and palm trees in the Nile Delta. The map then follows the river inland, and it ends up in a magical city on a kind of river-bound island.
It is basically buildings built just like in like South America. I forgot how they call them when they built on a hill, and as it comes down the hill, it's a separate house. when you go back just a little bit, you can see how each of them are like terraced going downwards. And, you know, he says magical city, you know, I mean, you can see that there's castle brick here, there's castle brick here, and there's castle brick here. So these all connect to some degree, you know, so.
On a kind of river-bound island.
If you look close, you'll see a white slave or concubine. The white race were slaves to the ancient black kingdoms of the Mediterranean region and Central Asia until the 3rd century BCE. Oh, I see where it is. Like right here. Right there is the white person. There's no telling that that's a slave or not, or just a person, you know, I mean, these people left Egypt where they were enslaved.
Is surrounded by high walls with multi-storied houses. Elegant ladies peering from the rooftop.
Again, he pushes that this person was a slave, but again, there's no evidence in the picture that he was a slave. The only evidence in the picture is that he's technically shorter than everybody else. And he said it might have been a concubine, but there's no, that looks like a man's head too. Now, I'm not arguing about one side or the other. I don't give a fuck on that. It's just, I mean, just the truth, dude, you know? That looks like a dude, you know?
Ladies peering from the rooftops and the rich harbor. At the time, there was only one port in Egypt that fits the city in the map. The fabled Avaris. Until late in the 20th century, there was no archaeological proof of contact between Avaris and the Minoans of Santorini. Then, in 1992, perfectly preserved Minoan paintings were discovered at Avaris, proving that in biblical times, this city was populated not only by Israelites, but also by people from ancient Greece. Is it possible that here lie some of the followers of Moses? The answer is on the tombstones that we now know were placed on top of the death chambers. The meaning of the images on the gravestones has never been deciphered.
Now, again, these are people that wrote in pictures, okay? They didn't write in an alphabet. It says original Mycenaean Spartan civilization or Hebrew ancestry. To prove this, he says Maccabees 12 and 20. Arius, king of the Macedonians. Now, we just had Agamemnon up, right? Let's get that back up real quick. Figures I got the picture right over where I need to type, right? We go to Agamemnon, and we want this because it says Atreus, right? Son of Atreus, and over here it says King Arius. This is Onias, the high priest, greeting. All right, so in Maccabees it says King Arius, and historically they call look, Mycenaean, they ain't gonna have a bunch of different kings with the same fucking name, and it's Atreus. They added a T. Take the T out, it's Areus. Go right back over here, and it's Areus. Okay, so Agamemnon is Memnon. They're fucking liars, right? Man, these motherfuckers.
If you ask scholars, what is it? They say, well, it looks like a hunt, but there's no animal. Or it looks like a battle, but there's no two people fighting. Let's look at it and let's see What in fact do the grave stelae of Mycenae actually testify to if we just look at it very simply, without any prejudice and without any preconceptions?
I almost want to whisper some kind of secret, because nobody realizes that they have a 3,500-year-old movie, if you will, 3 frames of the parting of the sea. And they don't know it. They don't know it, but look at it. Just look at it. It's so clear. Frame number 1, you see waves on top and waves on the bottom. You actually literally see the parting of the sea. And this guy is on a chariot chasing Moses, who's holding a staff. That's frame number 1. Right over here, you have frame number 2 in the movie. The water is gathering into whirlpools, and look what's happened over here. Everybody thinks the man with the staff is the loser.
Did you see that? For the occurrence in the Red Sea to happen, 2 whirlpools had to form at the same time. Not 1, but 2 had to form at the same time.
Frame number 1, and right over here, you have frame number 2 in the movie. The water is gathering into whirlpools, and look what's happened over here. Everybody thinks the man with the staff is the loser, but he's actually turned around. He's turned around. He's facing his enemy. He's occupying higher ground, and this guy is occupying lower ground. And look, there's walls of water coming. And in the 3rd frame, which is in another museum, even more hidden, you see this guy's been overturned. The water is engulfing them. The horses are upended.
All right, so what's going on is the little guy that was down here before his feet were down here equal with the wheel of the chariot. Now his feet are higher, so he got to higher ground. You gotta kind of think of it as a comic book. Now the water down here is gathering into 2 whirlpools. Now whether they're going the same way, whether they're rotating the same way, it doesn't matter. Once all the water is sucked from the field, there's no more power for the whirlpool. Then the water will what? Break free from wherever it went. Usually water goes underground into an underground river. Once the underground river is full, then the water, it spouts back up, just like Yosemite or something like that. So the water spouts back up, and the one with the staff, again, is on higher ground. You see this dude's legs up in the air, like they're on higher ground, and this one is going sideways, like the water broke free and came and knocked this guy down, but this guy was too high for the water to affect.
The water is engulfing them, the horses are upended, and the story is complete.
But what do the experts say?
In this very example, the options can be mainly 2. Either he is a warrior in a battle scene, and he's the enemy, he's chasing the enemy.
Now, do you see? He's running, he's got the staff or the club, and his feet are equally on the ground, and the water is low. They're running in water, but it's low water. When there's no more water symbol on the ground, the 2 whirlpools has sucked all the water up, and they're just running on mud. A horse can't move on mud, but a human can. So this human over here was probably able to crawl to higher ground as the water was starting to break free.
And the second option may be the chariot race scene.
So this guy is,
Hell yeah, it's a chariot race scene. He's chasing his ass down with a chariot in low water. And if he runs him over, he's going to break his limbs with the wheels and with the fucking horse hooves, right? Right. So it's a fucking chase scene.
and this guy is racing around.
He is bearing a sword as well, and he's holding a sword.
This doesn't look like much of a sword. It looks more like a staff to me.
Right there, that's not a good argument. Now, if he goes back to another relief, it looks like a club right there. That looks like a club. His reins The reins to the horse look more like a damn staff.
Case, it's
But if you watch this video, he proves his point. Now, I want to go back to this one because, this one's got so much in it.
AM Snodgrass. A lot of you don't realize that Greece had a period
had a period called the Dark Age, and this is not making reference to the Middle Ages. This is making reference to the centuries before Alexander the Greek came in 333 BC. Let's take a look inside the book. This is on an internet I'm looking at. This is a picture of Greeks making weapons. What color are these Greeks? That's what they call the Dark Age of Greece. Why? Because Japheth's son Javan had inhabited this area of blacks in antiquity. Okay? See the picture on the cover? That's the picture we're going to look at. This is showing you that another culture was coming in. Okay? You see this dark skin here and this lighter skin one? Two women, different races, but all in Greece. Okay? This one was moved out. Side and front views of white ground cantharos in shape of janiform, heads of a Negro and a white from Tarkaniah, 510 years before Christ. Okay, we're back in this book called African Presence in Early Europe. Okay, edited by Ivan van Sertima. I'm going to page 44. Listen close. Recent excavations at Thera, an island to the north of Crete, that's Greece, has yielded the fragments of many impressive murals that bear witness to the existence of an African or Libyan element. Remember, they use this term African when anybody brown skin. Caucasian Esau came in, all of the brown skin Japhites, all of the brown skin sons of Japhet, the sons of Japhet, Javan, the sons of Japhet, they call them African, Libyan, all meaning burnt face like Ethiopian. Now let's take a look at some of these murals. All right, I'm on page 46. I'm turning it to the side because it's a side view. Let's look at Japhet. Do you see these black people?
No, since he's doing that, we'll go to more reading parts.
Look at this. And Pi writes from the moment that we have records of Greece and Rome, and probably before. As is stated by Jones, 1972, Homer writes in the Iliad and the Odyssey. These are two Greek mythology. A lot of these mythologies, Greek mythologies, are based on some truths of the wars that they have. Of these Ethiopians as blameless and pious people. They appear at Troy as soldiers under the leadership of Ethiopian general Memnon. Therefore, we learn of Ethiopia and Ethiopians long before there is even a conception, much less a political entity of Europe. As Europe emerges,
okay, so
we have neither.
You see what's going on here? Before there's even a fucking Ethiopia, we have Ethiopians. Okay, and these Ethiopians are fighting in the Greek wars. And they're not fighting in the Greek wars as Ethiopians. They're fighting in the Greek wars as Greeks. The Minoans are drawn as brown-skinned people, the same skin tone as what's on the Egyptian walls that we call the Egyptians. Now, here's the problem. If the Egyptians are brown, red, ruddy, but the black Egyptians are still brown, red, ruddy, but they're a little bit darker and they got wool hair, It don't seem like the same people. Now, I'm going to show you this video over here. Now, again, I don't want anybody to be confused. So I'm going to show you a couple stone structures that survived. Now remember, these aren't rooted in the ground. These aren't built into the structures of Egypt, like the black-headed people who hold the scepter. All right? So, give me a second. We've looked at that. That one's okay, this one. And look at this one. Now, this is 0, 0 flat. This is Black Egypt not approved, okay? So this is somebody called a super Egyptian, and they want to show you all the time that all these other different races were there or ruled there. Now, I don't think what he's showing you is, or she, whatever they may be, I don't think that they're showing you all these other different races. I think what they're showing you is Mizrahim, and they don't know how to, to say, well, this is what he's going to say that they're white. Now, you can clearly look at this picture that's on screen, and you can see that the person's not white, and you can see that the person's not black. But what you can see is he does kind of look Mongoloid, yet he does kind of look Arabic, yet he does kind of look Indian. So basically, this is just some kind of peoples we haven't normally seen from the American perspective. Okay, what we have here is, I'm going to pause this music. They have the Walk Like the Egyptian music on, but it's not really, it's a real shitty version. The enemy of the Egypt A, Negroid. All right, so here we have this person saying that from his view, when he looks at who is on the walls of Egypt, that when the Negro or Negroid is depicted, that he is depicted as an enemy of the Egyptian. Can't control it all of a sudden. Come on, piece of shit. I can just turn the volume down. Okay. So, for some reason, I'm having a hard time controlling this video. See what I mean? I'm clicking on the damn bar, and it's just not giving me. What the hell? Gotta double click it, ain't. There we go. Ugh. Alright, let me smaller so it stops being evil. Alright, let's go back. I really don't know why it's doing this. Alright, I'm having some issues with this one. I don't know why. My controls aren't not working when I attempt to highlight the control bar. So I'm gonna stop with this one. I can't. Let me see if I can restart it. Alright, I have control again. Alright. Piece of crap! Alright, so this person is stating, they've done numerous comparisons before, and sensible viewers can see that clearly the Negroid features. So he's going to bring up a couple points. We're going to look at just a few of his points. Alright, here's a lion devouring a Nubian. And he states, why on earth would they make this carving if they were black, if they was black as the diluted Afrocentric state? So that is a fair point. You don't draw yourself inside lions getting devoured. Nubians were carved as slaves or conscripted soldiers, Kansan, the mercenaries. The only black Nubian mummy the ancient Nubians preserved is Mai-Herfe, the royal fan bearer to Thutmose, which was a one-off. And then now I think racism is shown when the word nappy is used. Whatever hairstyle this is, it's still Afro. This is, the politically correct way to say, bulbous forehead. That is a good point. There are breeds of people that have a bulb in the front of their forehead, but that is a phenotype, just like a beard is a phenotype. And it says, mummy in Egypt, the royal fan bearer, observe his Negroid figures. He's a fan bearer of Mai-Herpi. Sounds like he's saying my herpy. Anyway. We're gonna look at this Nubian soldiers, and you can kind of see these people. And he calls them Nubians, right? And you can see how slanted their eyes are. Now, it isn't that there aren't black people that have slanted eyes. It's just, I think it's kind of funny. If we look at that first picture, those eyes aren't really slanted. They're elongated, but they're not, the corners of the eyes are not down here, and the peaks of the eyes are not up. They're just, the eyes of the Nubian depicted there are just wide. All right. Now, when you look at this other picture that he puts up for his argument, you can clearly see that those eyes, see, the head is tilted as if it's looking up, so that the peaks are going to go down into the nose like they're depicted right there. They're not depicted that way here. The heads are not, on the same level. That head's looking straight and forward. This head's looking up. So he argues that even with grainy images, these features are clearly that of Negroids. And, I still got to argue that, because those look Mongolian from my perspective. But again, we all have our biases of what, It's one thing if people that come up and look like that and see the images and say, hey, that looks like me. So So he claims those are Nubians. Now, there are plenty of Egyptian images that show that the Egyptians carry this hairstyle too. Now he says even the Greeks clearly described Negroids in their artwork. Well, that's because, as we just learned, the early Greeks were Negroid, or Negroid features. Now he says, so does the Mesopotamians. Okay, so here's the part where it shows the education of the person that is doing this. Mesopotamia is a loose governed Babylon, meaning there's not really a government in Mesopotamia. It's a bunch of marketplaces and dwelling places, different nationalities or different people groups merged, forming skills. Sell food every day, sell pottery. You know, so again, it's about the bias. It's about what each person's biased to. You know. So, we're at what, 47? Here's the same author, and they're going to show you, I don't want that one. What is this one? This one says the ancient Greeks and Romans did not say ancient Egyptians were black. All right, so again, well, this is the ancient Greeks and Romans in their description of ancient Egyptians. So, yeah, he says people claim that Herodotus states that Egyptians had black skin and woolly, kinky hair. And what he says is, well, let's just look at what he actually said. Herodotus said, for the fact is, as I first came to realize myself, and then heard from others later, that the Colchians are obviously Egyptian. Now, if the Colchians are Egyptian, why do we call these people Egyptians instead of Colchia? Why don't we call it Colchia? Why don't we call them Colchians? Why do we use the term Egyptian? All right. Some Egyptians say that they thought the Colchians originated with Sesostris army, but I myself guessed their Egyptian origin not only because the Colchians are dark-skinned and curly-haired. Now the author adds this, which does not count for much by itself because these features are common among others too. So that's what Herodotus said. Now, the video author is going to give his opinion now, I believe. Or is it? And he says, note the lack of black-skinned and kinky hair. All right, so what he said was Colchian. So it doesn't matter what the author says. Like, we need to say, hey, what is Colchian? So when we type in Colchian people, Clochis people come up, and there's images too. So when we go ahead and we look at the Clochis people, it says that these was an ancient kingdom in the region on the coast of the Black Sea, centered in present-day Western Georgia. So this is Clovis and Iberia. Now it says that they're by present-day Georgia. Now if we go ahead and open present-day Georgia, we see the Roman cross first, right? Let's overthrow these niggas, right? Now here's Georgia right here. Now there's the Black Sea. What is that Black Sea? Is this the Black Sea? Well, this is Turkey, right? Where Philip of Macedonia and Alexander the Great come out of, right? Now down here is where Israel's supposed to be, but we just saw a map that says Syria's right here, not up here where we've been taught, right? And then Egyptians are supposed to be down over here, excuse me, down over here, but these Clovis people, Cloches, right? They're over there. Let's see what's going on. It has been described in modern scholarship as the earliest Georgian formation, which, along with the Kingdom of Iberia, would later contribute significantly to the development of the medieval Georgian statehood and the Georgian nation. Internationally, Clochis is perhaps the best known for its role in the Greco-Roman mythology, but most notably as the destination of the Argonauts, as well as the home of Media and the Golden Fleece. So, you gotta wonder what the Cloches people look like, don't you? Right? Okay, so you open up on your window Cloches people. Now, the first thing that they show you is a motherfucking Egyptian, right? Look at this shit. This is what they show you first. This is what they want you to fucking see first. Right? Here, let me go back one. The origin of black cultures, right? Whose name was Serosis, right? That's an Egyptian pharaoh, right? Look at this first one again. Herodotus on Cloches, right? This is Anatolia, Armenia, Cloches, the Artrax, something, ... right? This is what they did to these people, right? You want to see what the Cloches people look like? Photo of Afro Ab AB, right? AB original, Aboriginal. This is AB Khazarian. A plus B equals Khazarian. These are Negro Khazarians. Moors of, now remember, Moor and Negro is interchangeable. You see he got the gun on the dark skinned people? See the pale skinned fucker with holding the gun on the dark skinned people? He had to hold a gun on him just to take a picture of him. This is what they do to you. See the chains on their ass? Where's here, we're gonna do this. Let's move this shit down real quick. Let's go to all again. Now look, you type in Cloches people. Here we go to this one. Oops. Why they show you this picture? Clochian people, and this is what come up first, right? Black Egyptian people. You see this down at the bottom? They're hiding you from you. Now you see how the girl got curly hair, but it's not afro? But you see when it's packed up down there, it looks just like an afro. You see the little boy got an afro, but his hair get long and get stringy too, right? Oh, fuck. So You type in Clovis people like they want you to, and they'll just show you some bullshit. You type in Clochanian, right? See, they gave me Clovis, right? No, paste. Clochanian people. Still come up black people. Still come up black people with Egyptian images. Still come up black people. I don't know what the fuck those people are. Mountain people of Russia. Oh, okay. Great. So that's the mountain people of Russia, right? How black Russia became Christians. So these are black Russians, right? Russians like all albino diverse people stupidly maintain that they are the original people, even though documented history clearly shows that they're not. You know? So this is Black Germany. The Moors of Japan. So you see they got Japanese blood in them, and they still got woolly hair, and they tie their hair in the rope. I'll be damned. Who would have known we'd have found this shit today? AB Kazakhstan. Khazarian. My bad. Ab-Khazarian. Right? Aboriginal, Ab-Khazarian, Russian, King soldiers, Black history, Russian army. Black soldiers in the Russian army. The Aboriginal people have been forced Khazarian or Russian Kochian Jews of India. Did you just fucking see that? Kochian Jews. Now, that's oh shit, that's the real name. When they sit there and say we got Koshin blood, what they're trying to say is Koshian. Kochian. Oh shit, I done caught these motherfuckers. Who is this nigga? That's not a nigga. Egyptian shot. He got an afro, but he's pale as fuck. I'm sure that's what they say about me too. So you see, you type in these names, look, cultures versus Rome, and now we're starting to see what's going on. Now we could have found a hidden name, the cultures. Now you see that nigga on that coin right there, right? You see he got dreadnoughts, right? Zartan and the dreadnoughts. Oi! You see he got the dreadnoughts on his beard, right? You see this? See that fucking nose? Ain't that the same nose that they argue is the Aztec? You know what I'm talking about. Come on. I don't need to always fucking pop up other shit. Where the big nose people at? That dude kind of got a big nose. You know what I'm talking about? Those people with the woolly frizzy hair with the big nose that they always show. I showed in the last couple of videos. I just can't pick up a picture of it right now. It seems behind me. I'm trying to get done before 2 hours flat. Now, you know what's been hidden under the cold cheese people, or Colchian, all right? That's what's up. Colchians versus Rome. You see this? That's a Phokia. That's a Phoenician from coast to Anatolia, right? That's what's going on, man. They didn't lie about everything. I didn't hit the black coin page. You start next video with this one.